It's ironic that one of the criticisms levied on advocates of Bitcoin is that somehow we're against capitalism, or that we don't like capitalism, or that we're against the banks and against corporations and things like that. I think that represents a fundamental misunderstanding of what the culture is, because I'm an entrepreneur. I've started 6 businesses. I believe in capitalism. I am a capitalist myself. I'm an entrepreneurial capitalist. I believe in small business entrepreneurial capitalism, in disruptive creation, and in creative destruction. The people who don't believe in capitalism run the banks. The people who believe in a very cozy kleptocracy in which they can pursue profit-making opportunities with zero risk. Zero risk isn't capitalism. Zero risk is a perverted form of patronage and kleptocracy in which all of the profits are privatized and all of the risks are socialized. We've created this environment where the largest organizations of the world are trying to completely de-risk everything, to de-risk capitalism. And de-risked capitalism is capitalism without innovation, it's capitalism without legitimate profit, and it's capitalism where all of the risk is concentrated and swept under the rug until one day it explodes in your face and you have massive collapses. Capitalism without risk is impossible. Capitalism which is perverted so that it accrues into these giant centralized organizations that are not innovating, that are not risking, but which are simply positioning themselves over large flows of money and sticking a straw into those flows and sucking out as much profit as they can in these cozy regulated environments where they are protected from prosecution when there's fraud, they're protected from failure when they collapse, and they receive massive and lavish corporate welfare subsidies in order to create this mirage of capitalism where somehow it's as if they profit because they're succeeding in this competitive environment, which is a complete lie, of course, because there is no competitive environment. There is no free market. They're succeeding because they have fully co-opted the systems around them and pursue what is now rent-seeking behavior, completely isolated from risk or consequences of fraud. Bitcoin will save capitalism. I thoroughly believe that. I think Bitcoin represents free market ideals and capitalistic ideals that allow you to re-inject innovation with risk, because risk is part of innovation, into an economy that has become stagnant as the attempts to de-risk everything have led to these giant monopolies, these cartels in banking, these cartels in retail, these cartels in information and media and entertainment and even in consumer electronics, you know, these giant organizations that are able, through a combination of patents and copyright laws and cozy regulations and closed systems, to completely rig every market until competition is swept out of the system. The end result is that we've seen very little innovation. And not just that, but it's led to economic stagnation, because if it is more profitable to sit in a rent-seeking position achieved through regulatory capture, then why innovate? Why compete? Why do anything that involves any risk if you can simply collect $70 billion from the Fed in zero interest money and use it to finance operations that generate cash flow out of derivatives without taking any risk in a market that's completely captured? So what happens then? All of the money flows get sucked into these systems, and the end result is that innovation dies. The rest of the economy stagnates. It's unprofitable to invest in any new businesses. It's unprofitable to invest in any innovation. And as a result, all of those investments have stopped. Right in the middle of the sea of stagnation, you have Bitcoin now not just creating a new model for currency, but at the same time creating a new liquidity pool that has been built on top of this vibrant, innovative economy where now you see hundreds of startups creating thousands of jobs, creating this incredible amount of innovation in financial services, in cryptography, in security, in distributed systems, in technology. And we're only seeing the beginning of this. And as this wave accelerates, is generating its own economy, an economy that isn't about capturing the broader economy and converting it from dollars or sterling or euros into Bitcoin, but instead creating within Bitcoin its own vibrant economy and community that is completely separate, that is completely self-sufficient, and that has nothing to do with the stagnancy of the fiat currencies around it. That's the biggest disruptive potential of Bitcoin. Not that it's a better currency that takes over the function of the other currencies and absorbs their economic activity, but that it forms the basis for a free market economics that enables innovation and unleashes all of this innovation without permission that has been pent up for decades in financial services, creating its own economic activity that in the end may end up dwarfing the traditional financial sector and not replacing it by absorbing it, but replace it by making it irrelevant, by rendering it obsolete, by rendering it the means of the past. I think Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, through this new decentralized economy and by building a global community that believes in these decentralized economies and sees their power, creates such huge economic activity on the internet that it really builds the internet economy and then the cryptocurrency economy to the point where they eclipse many of the other economic activities that we see. And that's why I say, in the end, Bitcoin doesn't threaten capitalism. Bitcoin threatens kleptocracy, and kleptocracy needs to be threatened. And through that, Bitcoin saves capitalism.